Hello, I'm Jean-Marc. In this video I am going to tell you about Astro Stories. I am a storyteller. I am fond of symbolic language. I am fond of astrology, especially of karmic astrology and of psychological astrology. Symbolic language, what is it all about? It's about feeling. With our left brain, rational mind, we explain. We explain so we understand intellectually, but we may not feel what it's all about. With right brain language, symbolic language, metaphorical language, using images, using stories, allegories, fables, parables, we feel much more intimately what the explanations are all about. Explanations, rationality, plus metaphor, analogical language, both together, two brains, two hands, and we understand better like that. That's what I'm doing my best to do. Let me give you an example. When I started to read birth charts according to karmic astrology principle, I started to do a chart for an online friend, a nice woman, my age. I was younger, so she was young. And I didn't know her very much, and I start reading the chart, and according to the symbols in there, I start telling a story, and I say that could be the story of a queen. She's a queen, she's powerful like a queen, she enjoys a lot of wealth, her life is comfortable, but she's a prisoner. She lives in a golden cage. She's unhappy in her relationship with the king, because the king is all about his social role, is all about being a king, but he's not much of a husband, he doesn't care very much, he hasn't got time for that. And so she feels like a prisoner. And she has a servant close to her who shares her secrets, her intimacy, so they are very best friends, and they share the state of being prisoners as well. And one day they escape. And I stop the story there, because it's not about telling everything. When you start reading a birth chart, you read actually the settings rather than, and then you suggest the resolution. Well, I stopped there and I asked my friend, what do you think of that? And she said, it's incredible, you told the story of my mother. Because in karmic astrology, sometimes what we live during our childhood, or what we see our parents living, is a kind of recap of our past lives and of the problems we will have to deal with in our lives. So she said, it's the story of my mother. Her parents lived in an African country. They were members of a small French community. In an African country, we were a small French community. Everyone knows everyone. The father was an important businessman. There were a lot of gathering and receptions, and she was the wife of Mr. Important, and she was unhappy in her relationship. And when my friend was 14 years old, her mother and her bought secretly planes tickets, and they escaped. And when they were back in France, they let the father know that he was alone without them. So, without knowing it, I had told the story, just reading the birth chart. Sometimes I'm lucky. Some say that maybe I'm a little bit psychic, I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit lucky or inspired, because sometimes it's more symbolic and it's about the themes people can be sensitive to, rather than really telling literally the story of their lives. Not everything is written. I don't believe that everything is written in life. So it can't be written in a birth chart if it's not written at all. I don't believe in 100% fate. What I believe is that, for example, if you go on holiday, you start by planning a little bit to avoid taking the plane because you support Greenpeace, you take a boat, or you take the train, or you choose a destination without taking the plane, but you buy tickets, and there are dates on it, and a destination, and someone who comes across the tickets can say when and where you're going to go, but not what's going to happen exactly. I think that astrology is a little bit like that. You've got some meeting points, there is some timing, there are things that are going to happen, you are going to go at certain places, but what will happen. No, it's not written. It depends of you. It depends of life. So, Astro Stories, I speak symbolic language. I translate the symbols of the birth chart and the signs, the planets and their aspects and all of that into half explanations and half metaphors, stories, to feel what it's all about. And to really make sense, it has to be followed by a discussion, to be preceded and followed by an exchange. I think that's all about knowing ourselves better. Prediction, do we care? Thank you.